some of the characters we had here. How was the thing always, you know? I've got to mention this chap. Mr. and Mrs. James Davis of Aberystwyth Blog. Remember Jim? Now Jim was a very thriving farm, doing very, very well actually. And I remember helping him there with the potato harvests just below the chapel. Rubus used to have the fields by there for potatoes. And we'd get paid, you know, the spinner would go around and get them out of the ground, and we'd all be there picking them and bucketing them and all that. And I think we had about £0.50 a day for it. And I think a couple of the families in the village actually had rows in their field, just the odd row or two or whatever, and they had those as payment for helping. And we'd have carrots and swedes delivered from Stratelo in the autumn to last us the winter, and they'd go out the shed, you know. There was none of this nonsense of washed carrots and all that business. They were just delivered in a sack, and it was up to you to keep the mice off them. And I suppose when you think back to those days of picking by hand, you know, the gangmaster is nothing new. We had the gangmasters out there, and they were very kind. There was one farmer locally, very close to here. I remember 5 of us turning up one night pitching bales. And this dear man was going to give us supper because we'd come straight from school. I could not believe it. We had half a tomato each and 1 tin of frayed bento stock beef, not the big one, the little one, right? And a bit of barabelli. And that was between 5 of us and him. He was all that, he was. Very local to here. Then we'd be threshing up in Aberystwyth with the old static thresher and all those belts flying back and forth off the tractors. I don't remember the traction engines, mind. And as kids, we used to have a whale of a time there, trying to be out of the way of the men who knew what they were doing. And as the stack went down, the fun. Small boys, dogs, sticks, rats, mice, tie your trouser legs, otherwise they'd be up there. Yeah, it was brilliant. You know, I don't remember anybody dying of Wheels disease or anything like that in those days. But apparently there were quite a number of people going around with one wooden leg because they'd been pitching in at the top and falling into the machine. But there we are. And the farm offered a rubbish collection service from time to time. And the old Gambo used to come round. A farm cart which had been converted actually to the old David Brown tractor that they had. And of course, he'd load up in the village and dump it in the tip. Now, not a lot of people know where the tip is unless you were living in this area then, but it's on the Mabos, what they call it? It's called Mabos Road. As you fork off to go up towards Mabos, about half a mile up there, they stopped the trailer and took it over the side and fell down the hill. That was a good system because we would recycle. Remember that word? Where's it gone? There. Recycle. Nothing is new. We'd recycle because you had your outside lavatory, and unless you were posh and had a septic tank, it went into a bucket, and the bucket went on the rhubarb or something. All the household rubbish, you'd sort that out, give it to the chickens or the pig or whatever. And do you know, a thing I saw today, I thought was brilliant. Because in those days, if it was too big for this and the compost heap, hedge clippings especially, you chucked them in the river and sent them out to sea. Now, it's so nice to see that tradition carried on today. Because today, I hope you've got councillors here. I was walking along this afternoon when I got here, and I wanted a bit of sycamore twig to make whistles. So I walked along the river, and the dumping places are still there today. There's a whole shed full down by Llanrhystud. Lovely, you know, I mean, when we get a bit of decent water coming down the river now, it'll all go down the sea. We used to wait until we had a flood and then we'd chuck it in. But I don't know, pressure of work these days. You see wheelbarrows coming down with a purpose, you know, tipping in. But it hasn't gone down the bank, so as soon as we get some good rain now, please somebody go down there and kick it and send it down to look good. Otherwise, when they come to cut in the grass verges, somebody might tell on you. Yes, it was everything, you know. The newspapers were recycled in the outside lavatory. Right, remember them? Nail stuck on there. The garden fires, you're not allowed to bylaw so-and-so. You can't light the fire until after so-and-so o'clock. Yes, right. Oh, we did. And don't forget, nobody died of pollution. Nobody died of anything terrible from having their lavatory tipped out on their rhubarb. You know, it's nice with custard, actually. But, now, Mr. Taylor was a major milk supplier in this village, and Mr. Davis would push a little light hand cart with bike wheels, I think they were. And he'd go around the village selling milk. And of course, he was selling healthy, non-pasteurized, non-this and that. It was, you know, proper milk. And we'd usually meet up with Jim just before he got to the top of Church Street. And for a couple of pennies, he would let you carry on and do the round. Now, the reason for this was pushing the truck downhill is quite heavy going, and you need refreshment. So while we were dealing with people down Church Street, etc., Jim would be in the back, you know, having a noggin or two, and quench his thirst. And of course, it wouldn't cause Mrs. Davis too much grief, or him too much grief from Mrs. Davis, because I don't think she approved of him having too much. And if I remember right, he used to take snuff as well. He was a great character, a lovely man, and I'm sure he contributed a lot to the village, in fairness. In the summer, the farm would host the Boy Scouts and the Girl Guide parties. I can imagine a little village like this. Boy Scouts are here, there's guys, girls, you know, all this sort of business. And they'd be in tents. Well, tents, goodness me. We didn't have tents in those days, let alone gazebos in your back garden. And we'd go up there and watch them cooking food. Great big servers of food and open fires and logs and campfires and all sorts of things. And of course, they'd be going off down the beach, swimming on our beach. But we didn't mind that too much. And I suppose the church was very pleased too, because they used to turn out in uniform for the church service on a Sunday. And that swelled the numbers of them. They always looked very smart, I got to give them that. Now obviously the farmers change hands and diversification has come in these days. And I suppose more people are now being employed. It looks a bit different, right? But there we are. Now then, I've been rabbiting on an hour and a quarter, and I'm told it's enough. But I will, before I finish, one last one, because, oh, I got some characters here. Dick the Danny's. Cheerio, Tom. Danny K, Danny Sackford. We read the history. Behind Brooklands. That was set up by my grandmother. And it was part of back terrace, Tegvan, the garages, etc., ran straight across to the bakery. And she set it up for something to do for my Uncle Tom, actually. And he was a bachelor, lived at home. His sisters had been away at school in Tywyn, and my aunt went to university, so they were all right. My mother didn't want a higher education. She went to work in Lipton's, I think it was, in Aberystwyth. Now, it wasn't so much to earn a living, but to learn retailing at somebody else's expense. So she made a bloody mess of it. They lost the money, not my grandmother. And she was very young and had a car. There was only about 3 in the village at the